paid all these expensive tools, this expensive team, and you gave half of your money to Mark Zuckerberg, and you're left with $10,000, $20,000 in profit.
It's literally not more complicated. You can make $1 million a year with 30 to 40 clients.
You basically ramped them into the position, didn't get any sale, and then they fuck off. And at the same time, one of your employees starts to steal your login data and scams you.
I was chatting to somebody with a YouTube channel. They have 700 subscribers on YouTube, and they do nearly $100,000 a month from that because it's targeted people.
Welcome to Scale Simple. I'm Sebastian, and I'm here with Jeff. Here we talk about scaling your coaching business to 7 or 8 figures while actually keeping the profit. Because here's the thing, most companies sacrifice 70 to 80% of their revenue to bloated ad spend, big teams, or tools they don't need. So we show you how to keep most of your money using hybrid social funnels where organic content and paid ads work together, not against your profit. That's what we talk about here. We share all the specific strategies and what's working right now that you can implement into your business.
How do we scale a coaching business whilst keeping 80, 90% profit margins? I guess many people think that's fake, right? When you say that or when you put that out there, people are probably like, that's bullshit. Show me your actual numbers.
The reason people think it's fake, dude, is just because everybody's bought into the story that you need to scale a big team. And again, could you scale $1 million a month business with a 90% profit margin? Probably not. But obviously everything we talk about at Scale Simple is about building a 100K a month coaching business with a 90% profit margin, loads of free time on your calendar, very little stress, and a very tiny team. The reason that we double down on that is because when you ask these coaches that are scaling, would you rather have a 300-400K a month business with tons of stress, a packed calendar, and 15% profit? Or would you rather have a 100K a month business, almost no stress, a tiny team, and 90% profit? Inevitably, they all go, I'd rather have 100K, 90% profit, tiny team, and very little stress. So it's not right for everybody. And I think if your purpose is to grow a monster business, and utilizing hybrid social funnels is probably not going to be the way for you to do it. But if you want to grow a lifestyle business that affords you the time, money, and location freedom, then a hybrid social funnel is perfect. And a 90% profit margin, 85 to 90% profit margin is 100% doable.
Yeah, I think that's where many people get caught up, no? Because I don't know how it is for every entrepreneur. Of course, I guess there's people that go into creating their own business that are coming out of a very wealthy situation or out of a very good job, which I think was also the case for us. We both had good corporate or good jobs before that paid very well. But usually when you go into entrepreneurship, and please go into comments and correct me if I'm wrong here, but it would be because initially you might want to make more money. And maybe not just money, but maybe you want that freedom as well, and you want that upside. There's this graphic, maybe we can look for it, right? But it's basically, it says there's how many millionaires? 8,000, or there's a couple of millionaires, and then there's like 1,000 billionaires. And if you look at the chart on how these 1,000 billionaires made their money, there's not one corporate exec in there, maybe 1% or something like that. But it's like that, those are all entrepreneurs and investors of assets, right? So it's all that kind of thing. So maybe you just want more upside, maybe you want more money, maybe you want that freedom and that location as well. But initially, when you get started, it's probably a lot of it, okay, I want more money, right? And then as an entrepreneur, you start making more money, right? As it was for us as well. You start making 30, 40, 50K a month. And that's good. Maybe you make 100K a month, but then you realize that it's not just money, but there's also a lot of stress tied to it. It's like hiring a closer and then they fuck off after 6 weeks. So you basically ramped them into the position, didn't get any sale, maybe one, and then they fuck off, right? And all of these things, and at the same time, one of your employees starts to, I don't know, steal your login data and scams you, which happened to a friend of mine as well. And all this crazy shit that automatically happens when you scale, right? If you're making 100K a month, I can guarantee you've had chargebacks, right? It just happens at that level when you have so much volume, you have cancellations, you have chargebacks, you have employees you need to hire and fire, all of this stuff that you didn't know you actually had to deal with. And then you ask yourself, after everything that you did, you paid all these expensive tools, this expensive team, and you gave half of your money to Mark Zuckerberg, and you're left with what, $10,000, $20,000 in profit? Maybe did you pay yourself? Maybe not. Something like that.
Yeah.
You're like, is this all worth it?
Yeah, exactly. And dude, this is the point, right? I just don't think, even take one small part of growing a big business the traditional way, VSL funnel, setters, closers, all of that kind of stuff. I just don't think people understand, A, how hard it is to find good setters and closers these days. It's hard. Because unlike during COVID times, you could be mediocre and still make amazing money. I was speaking to a client yesterday and they said even this, the last closer we had, 2020, 2021, 22, was like not great. But we were looking back at some of the commission checks we were writing him, and the guy was just making bank.
Yeah.
But times have changed, right? The marketplace is harder. People are more skeptical, like we said last time. And because of that, you need to have way better marketing. And if you're going to hire closers and setters, you need to hire people with an insane skill set. And they are hard to find. Why? Because they're not out there looking for a job. They're already on an offer. So then
they have other offers.
Yeah. So then you've got to think, okay, how can I pry that person away from their offer? Dude, unless you are able to prove earnings, close rates, all of that kind of stuff, don't expect them to leave their current offer because they know how few and far between good offers are to find. Let's fast forward and say you do find one of these unicorn closers and then they get onto the offer and your leadership skills are less than are needed. That person's not going to stick around because closers stick around for good income and good leadership. And if all they've got is good income, they will not stick around for that alone. I literally had a conversation yesterday with somebody who said, I really need your help. My closer he's given me a week's notice. He's the only person on the team. Closer's making amazing income. Company's doing 300-ish K a month. Closer's doing about 30 grand a month in commissions. He's leaving. He's given me a week's notice. And I'm like, okay, why is he leaving? That's probably best left not discussed in a public forum. Yeah. But a lot of it comes down to if you don't have good income and you're unable to give that closer good leadership. So people think I'm going to grow a coaching business because I'm really good at this thing, weight loss. And then that's great. But now in order to grow a traditional business, you've got to get good at copywriting. You've got to get good at funnel building. You've got to get good at direct response, and you've got to get good at conversion and optimization, and you've got to get good at sales, because otherwise how the hell are you going to teach your sales team to sell if you're no good? And you've got to get good at management and leadership and all of this kind of stuff. Yeah. People just don't appreciate how hard that is until they understand, why don't you just grow maybe 80, 100K a month, 90% profit margin, tiny team? Don't have to go nuts. Don't have to be Russell Brunson in terms of your marketing skills. Don't have to be Cole Gordon in terms of your sales skills. And you can grow a really lovely income, small amount of stress, small team, tons of free calendar space. I just don't understand why more people wouldn't want that. But the more people we speak to, the more people go, that's possible? Dude, show me how to do that.
100%. I think just people don't know that that is possible. And if I think back at when I got into this, one of my key mindset shifts that I had at the beginning of entrepreneurship, of running a digital marketing agency, of all of this, was just realizing how big TAM, or TAM stands for target addressable market, so your total market size. So how big the market is compared to what you need to be potentially happy running a crazy, wildly successful business. Like whatever you may do, let's say you're a fitness coach. Do you know how many people are in need of a fitness coach? Do you know how many people enter the market every single day? So today we have the 4th of September, 2025. How many hundreds of thousands of people today decided that fitness will be their thing to the end of the year? There's hundreds of thousands of people that have today entered the market. They weren't looking for this yesterday. Yesterday they were eating ice cream. And today they came into the market and they were like, fuck this shit. I'm going to go all in on my physique, on my whatever, figuring this out. So now they're in this and they're like, okay, what do? Do I go sign up for another gym? Do I hire a trainer? Do I buy an offer? Do I whatever? And they see your ad. Because the funny shit is, this is why we run ads, right? It's because Facebook, Instagram, Meta, they have 50,000, or I think it's 48 something, maybe it's more by now, 50,000 freaking parameters on you, how you live your life, how you make your choices, how long you scroll on that thing, how long you watch, what you click, everything, right? Including the Wi-Fi's you logged into and everything. So they will know that today will be the day where you decide to take your fitness seriously. They know already.
Yep.
And that's the crazy thing. You don't, and to bring the point home, you don't need 500 clients unless you're selling a super low ticket, but you don't need that. You don't even need 1% of the entire market to have a wildly successful 100K a month business. You need a couple of people paying you whatever, $500 a month, or maybe it's more high ticket, depending on what you do, right? Depending on how much is included in your offer, how premium it is, and how much authority you have and whatnot, that will make you and your business wildly successful and profitable. You do not need more and more. It's incredible how big that is. I don't know. That was my biggest mindset shift at the beginning of launching offers and agency and everything out there.
You can make $1 million a year with 30 to 40 clients.
100%.
That's it.
100%.
And, the people are just on this churn, aren't they? You've got to bring more people in the front end. So if you have a structured revenue model, where a lot is predicated on MRR, monthly recurring revenue, it's so much easier to have $1 million, not per month, but $1 million per year coaching business where you maintain 80 to 90% profit margin.
Am I blurry?
Oh yeah, you're a little blurry there, mate.
Why did that? Oh, there. Okay. I need my laptop keeps dying.
Good. Yeah, $1 million a year, 80 to 90% profit margins, 30 to 40 clients. And then you just open the doors periodically to your coaching program, maybe once a month. You take on an additional 5 or 6 clients. That's it. That's all you need to do.
I guess the hardest part for people to understand is probably the people that don't have 5 clients a month joining their coaching business or their program, right? If you're stuck anywhere 10K a month, maybe you started with your first 5 to 10 clients, right? Right now in your head, you're thinking, shit, I need to get as many leads as possible. But you don't even know that having so many leads is tiring, annoying, and frustrating. You don't want so many leads. I can tell you, we needed to put so much friction into our offers is that we don't want all of these leads because they drain your energy, they drain your time. If they're not a right fit, if they don't want to. So you just want, you're so close to this next step of, let's say 30, 50K a month, right? Where you have this peace of mind where you can once a month, like you said, drop an offer, say, I'm taking on 5 more clients, 3, 4, 5 people raise their hand, say,
no, but Sebastian, no, I need to go viral. I need to be viral and I need to have millions of followers online and I need to be a creator and an influencer and I need to dance on TikTok and do all the things. Surely. You just don't. I was chatting to somebody with a YouTube channel. They have 700 subscribers on YouTube and they do nearly $100,000 a month from that because it's targeted people. It's like nearly every single one of those subscribers is their perfect ICP. You don't need to be viral. You don't need to be the next sensation. You definitely don't need to be Alex Hormozy in order to make a phenomenal income in a coaching business. I guess our industry is a little bit like the weight loss industry. There's a lot of misinformation and there's a lot of people that pump out misinformation, but based on confusion marketing, right? If the marketplace is confused, then they're absolutely going to need to hire me so that I can demystify the whole thing. Hopefully with this podcast, we're going to, over the course of time, demystify the whole thing so that anybody could follow along and get a result.
100%. I think another interesting thing I heard from another creator the other day, he was like, it wasn't in a part of a course series or something like that, but I saw this video, the YouTuber or the creator was basically saying, yeah, this whole hijack attention thing, like that you gotta rehook, whatever, do it super satisfying. He's no, I'm not doing anything satisfying. I'm not rehooking, whatever, because I don't want you people that need your brain hijacked every 1 minute. The people that watch my stuff are taking this seriously and they're gonna also be the ones that convert. These people that are like need a dopamine brain thing hit confusion every minute. They're maybe, I don't know where. I'd love to give the credit to whoever said this, but I think the point of this is you don't always need or want what everyone else is trying to tell you to do. Everyone's telling you need to go viral. You need to have a great hook. You need to have 100 rehooks. You need to have this satisfying, super edited content, or you need to post 20 times a day. But you're not realizing that the only thing that you're doing is you're listening to what this person thinks is right at that time for that audience in that setting. This doesn't necessarily apply to you. Maybe that other person is a content creator and they're looking for brand deals. That's completely different than if you're trying to grow your coaching business or whatever it may be. So there's different types of content and meaning that apply to your specific situation. And The worst thing that you can do is go out onto YouTube and Instagram. You're scrolling all day, or on TikTok, and you're like, oh, this dude said I need to do this, and that person said I need to do that. And then you start to do everything, but not really. So you half-ass everything. You don't go viral. You're not speaking to your ideal clients. Your profile and your shorts are a mess because one day you want to post 20 times a day, and the next day you're like, oh, I got to hire an editor and focus on quality. I'm sure a lot of people resonate with this right now, right? That you feel the same, that this is happening right now to you. And you're asking yourself, what is the fix to this?
That's a broad topic, right? We could span several podcasts with that. But if I give you a high level, the fix to all of that is, and so number one is, for God's sake, hire a coach, whether that's us or somebody else. It just doesn't matter. Just find somebody that you resonate with, somebody that's done what you want to do, and hire them, for God's sake. Because for as long as you don't have somebody pointing you towards whatever your North Star is, you will ping around, you will watch too much content, you will try and duct tape together too many different strategies. You'll have half a VSL and half of a hybrid social funnel. And it's just a freaking mess, right? So for God's sake, number one, just hire somebody that can show you how to do this.
Pay them, please.
Yeah.
Did this mistake before. If you have friends or whatever that are qualified to tell you this, pay them. Pay somebody money. If you don't pay somebody money, they're not going to take this seriously, and they're not going to give you the help that you actually need.
And nor are you going to take it seriously if you don't pay
Correct.
them.
Yeah.
So number one, pay somebody, for God's sake. Pay somebody to help you, to show you the path, to put some blinkers on you and say, we're not going to do this. Because half the time in entrepreneurship, it's more to do with what you don't do than what you do. What can you say no to? We're not going to try and go viral. We're not going to try and build funnels. We're not going to try and create VSLs. We're not going to try and build huge sales teams. We're not trying to hit $1 million a month. We're not trying to do any of that rubbish. What we're trying to do is create a lifestyle business, 100K a month, 80 to 90% profit margin, tiny team, low stress, high profit. And in order to do that, you basically need to. So our version of this is a hybrid social funnel where you take a blend of organic strategies and paid advertising. You build a social profile, which is very good at nurture, whereas a VSL funnel is very bad at nurture. You warm those people up with strategic pieces of content over time, and people are going to say, but I need to make money yesterday. Okay, if that's not you, don't do this. Go and play blackjack at the casino, because this is a slightly longer burn, right? But it's so freaking worth it. You're going to warm them up with strategic content. And then when the time is right, you're going to make offers once a month. You're going to open the doors for 5, 6, 7, 8 people. You're going to allow that amount of people in, and you're going to close the doors again. That's the easiest way to 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100K a month as a coach with a tiny team, no stress, free calendar, all the things. That's it. That's literally it. That's all you need to do. It's literally not more complicated than that.
And I think many people also overcomplicate at the end of this, right? They're like, am I even worthy of teaching strangers this one thing that I want to do? And do I not need an entire, course, materials, all this additional thing that you think you might need, right? And it's really important to emphasize here that you do not. So first off, you can give anyone value where with subject matter 10% more. I don't know who I learned this from, but it's so true. You need to be 10% better at sales, fitness, marketing, whatever it may be that you want to coach people on, than the people that you are coaching them on. Yep. So if you know about nutrition, you know about how to do exercises properly and what will take you 10 steps better, you don't need to be Mr. Olympia, athlete, whatever kind of person. All you got to know is be 10% more knowledgeable and better. And maybe you have a little bit of proof, you've done a little bit of it before, or you've helped somebody else, or you've worked in the industry for a while or something like that. That is all you need. You don't need 200 training videos and swipe files and all this. People don't need more information. There's enough information out there. Sometimes they just need you to come in and say, do not do that.
Correct.
Do this exercise instead. Eat that instead. That's all.
Dude,
right?
if
and
all
then you
people
record
needed,
yourself.
there would not be one single overweight person on the planet, because the information on exactly how to stay slim and healthy, you could ask Google, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, ChatGPT, you name it. You could ask anything and find the answer. So it's not information that people pay for, it's implementation.
I love that. I see a lot of people coming in here and screenshotting that or leaving that for saving this part of the podcast for later, because that is 100% so true.
Yeah, it is wild, dude. It is wild. It's actually the path to freedom is so easy. Okay, do you know what? I think there's a difference between easy and simple. It's simple. But it's like eating an apple every day. It's easy to do, It's also really easy not to do.
I've been saying this for the past, I don't know, 20 years. I don't know about you, but because people were making fun of me, right? When I'm in my 20s, right? And I came into some kind of corporate job or whatever with all these senior people. And I was like, dude, what are you complaining about? This is not rocket science. So they would laugh at me and be like, oh, this young little fucker or whatever thinks he's the most arrogant, I don't know what. So I needed to switch my way of saying things. And I'm like, it's not easy, but it's straightforward and simple to do. This was step 1, step 2, step 3. The other day when we were hiking up on the Swiss Alps, Ladina was telling me this hike could be the hardest hike ever, but it's literally putting one foot in front of the other foot and doing it again and again until you're there. That's all.
Simple.
It's not complicated or anything.
Simple, but not easy.
Yeah. And we got up.
This is no different.
We got up on the mountain. We made it back down. I had a couple of blisters. My legs hurt for a few days after that, but hey.
But you felt good for doing it. What's hard is to climb a mountain if you have no guide or no path or no roadmap there. What's much easier is I would do it. I would put in the hard work if I had somebody next to me saying, okay, let's go this way. Okay, let's climb over this thing. Right, let's walk up this little rise here. Okay, now we're going to veer off to the right because that's a slightly easier path than straight on. And it's okay, I'm willing to work hard if I just have somebody showing me exactly what to do. And I think that's the purpose of hiring a coach. It is simple, but it isn't easy if you're trying to figure out the journey by yourself. That's why everybody should have a coach, us included. Do you know what I mean? We still have coaches. Yes. Because it's important. Coaches for health, coaches for business, whatever it may be. And I think people resist that for so long. They waste so much time and so much effort trying to figure it out by themselves. And the biggest secret in the whole universe is the people that you want to be like didn't figure it out for themselves. They had somebody show them too. Maybe the odd one in a million managed to get lucky and figure it out. But for the most part, 99.9% of everybody did not figure it out. They got a coach and they had somebody show them what to do.
Yeah, it's funny. You see a lot of that. And I would urge you all to do this, right? If you have people that you look up to, if it's fitness coaches, other people that you see on YouTube or wherever, right? When you look towards people that have a big following or making a lot of money with their coaching business or whatever they may be, the circle gets really small and everyone's buying from everyone. Like you'll see, for example, Cole Gordon, right? Who does a bunch of sales training and stuff like that, just recently made a YouTube video about buying Alex Hormozi's books and spending $200K on that or whatever. And he wasn't the only one, right? How many people actually spent maybe, $6K, whatever sums of money on Alex Hormozi? Not necessarily because to learn something new, but just to get other inputs, right? Alex is really good at certain things. He's grown some companies and he has certain inputs and certain things that can potentially take your business to the next level. You should invest in people and offers that you think can take you to the next level. Yeah. It's funny, I did a video on this the other day. Ladina was asking me, you should talk about how you make investment decisions because many people don't see that way. So imagine you're looking at hiring a coach right now or a mentor program, something like that. And you're thinking, is this going to be worth it or not? Should I do it? Should I not? Let's say it costs you 10K, right? And now you look at what you could potentially gain from this. Maybe it's sales training. Maybe it's marketing, something like that, right? So you want more leads and you want to close those leads. Now, I don't know what you charge your clients, but if you're charging them less than, let's say 3K in total, we might need to have a different conversation altogether on how to charge your clients high ticket. But let's say you're charging your clients 5K, right? And then over customer lifetime value, some of them renew, some of them you upsell, whatever. Overall, you have maybe 10K in value per client. Now, you're thinking about buying a program or hiring a coach for $10,000. Worst case, you implement a little bit of the marketing or the sales. You get a little bit better in sales or marketing. You close one more client, just one more. How many are you closing right now? Maybe 3. So next month you close 4. You're already completely zeroed out. And many people don't understand, okay, I closed one more client. You think that sales training and that marketing training and that thing that you implemented, that just evaporates and goes backwards the next month so that next month you do 2 clients again? No, dude, that's all in your brain. You've leveled up now. So next month, you're probably going to close 5 clients, right? So that's 3 more. That's $30,000 within 2 months that you gained in extra value to your business by hiring somebody for $10,000. But people get so spooked out of the way of like $10,000? Are you crazy? I'm making 10K a month now. That would be an entire month. How are you ever going to get to 50K if you stay in that mindset?
Yeah,
sorry,
if you're always thinking like somebody who makes 10K a month, you're always going to make decisions like somebody who makes 10K a month. What you've got to do is make decisions like somebody who makes 50K a month. And it's scary to do that, right? I've been there, you've been there, we've both been there, we've all been there. We've been there like, oh my God, now I've spent this money. I hope to God I get a return. And do you know what the reality is? Sometimes you do and sometimes you don't. But that's entrepreneurship, right? You've got to take the rough with the smooth and you've got to take the wins with the losses. And sometimes you end up buying somebody's program and it's absolute bullshit. Sometimes you buy somebody's program and it's the thing that makes up for 10 times that bullshit and then some on top as well. And you go, wow, thank God I just kept going. You know, but I do understand, man. I do understand how hard it is to do that. And I understand why people are so spooked. And I understand why people are so skeptical, because you and I have discussed previously the amount of grifters online is insane. Especially in the high ticket sales space where I came from. All of these girlies with Gucci handbags posting pictures of them driving Porsches that they've rented in a Miami penthouse that they've rented. And they grow a huge social media following of loads of people that want that lifestyle. And they end up selling them a 3 or 4K course, make millions, and then they can afford to rent more cars. And now they can actually buy one. And is it any wonder nobody believes anything anymore? Like, it's just blows my fucking mind.
Crazy
how many grifts there are out there. So I don't blame anybody for being skeptical. I don't blame anybody for being fearful to invest. I absolutely 100% get it and I understand.
100%. But did you guys notice that the objection handling technique that Jeff just used before when he was saying, if you make decisions like somebody that, you know, is used to 10K a month, that's going to be where you continue on. And if you want to make decisions differently, you got to rethink how you make decisions. That's one of, I think, 78 techniques that Jeff has outlined for you in Scale Simple. So if you ever get the chance to work with us, you'll obviously get many more of these exact techniques that you should not just use on yourself, but in your sales conversations as well.
But rather than a technique, it's also 100% the truth. Who knew that the truth was a sales technique? At the end of the
people
day,
think sales is this sleazy technique thing. I got to brainwash you. Let's talk about that. People, because seriously, I get confronted with this a lot. It's like people sometimes still think, sales, Sebastian, I don't want to have a sales conversation. What is a sales conversation, right? What are you essentially within a sales conversation? It's not about this sleazy salesman about selling you something that you don't need, but it's about outlining if you do need something. A good sales conversation, but you tell me, Jeff, right, is also helping you break your own beliefs so that you understand that you get out of this old mindset. Let's say Sebastian over here is making 10K a month. I did a lot of these videos, by the way, and Sebastian over here is making 100K a month, right? So what shifts and mindset changes do you need to have to be this kind of person versus the 100K a month Sebastian? He probably doesn't have a problem dropping 10K on a program, and he's going to make 200K in a couple of months. And versus the 10K a month Sebastian is, wow, I got to spend 10K on something that I don't know if it's actually going to work or not. Do you have any guarantees if I stay in that mindset?
Yeah, it's people have a fear-based mindset. And again, I understand where that comes from and I understand why it exists. I'm not berating anybody for having that mindset. But at the same time, they do need to realize that in order to get to where you want to go, you're going to have to level up as a person and you're going to have to make different decisions because the way you've made decisions has got you to this point in your life. Let's say that's 10K, 15K, whatever it is. Well, in order for you to make 50K, you're not going to make 50K making decisions the same way that got you to 10K. That's not how life works. You got to make decisions like the person you want to be rather than making decisions like the person you are. And that's potentially one of the hardest things to do as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, as a coach. It's one of the hardest things to do is to level up not just your skill set, that's the easy part, but leveling up your mindset is harder to do. But it's necessary in order to get to that next level.
100%. I think it helps when you, I don't know, recently I was charging one of our clients and it was, I think it was like 45K. And there was one point in my life, I didn't know you could charge 5K to a credit card. I think sometimes it might help probably If you were in car sales or luxury watches or something like that, you may have this easier because you were selling some kind of Patek, something else, and somebody drops his card for K, 80K, maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars right on a card just there with your card. There was a time I didn't know that people actually do this. And just having the ability to understand that this does work, the same as you go into your grocery shop and you spend $5 here for your latte. The same happens somebody buying a GTRS for $450,000 and he puts down his freaking card and is charged. The same process. There's nothing more. There's a little JSON file that says purchase. There's a couple more zeros there. Same shit. They have a merchant account. Amex says yes or no.
Boom. You're
That's
off to the races. Yeah.
Off to the races.
Yeah. 100%, dude. What are we going to leave the listeners with? What is your final thought for the day?
I think there's a lot of techniques and strategies that we're going to share, but I'm realizing with this conversation that there's also so much mindset to cover. So how do you change your mind and the way you're thinking to make decisions that will benefit you tomorrow? This goes for making more money, but also for how do you restructure your business and your operations so that you can keep more of your profit and you don't need to be in a drenched, booked calendar of hundreds of meetings with hundreds of tools that you don't need. So this is also mindset shift for all of us entrepreneurs making millions of dollars, running 7-figure businesses or 8-figure businesses. How do we have this mindset shift that it is possible to make more profit, have a smaller team, lower stress, and educate a lot of your customers and buyers before they even make a decision to start working with you? So I don't know what the end point of this conversation will be, but I know there's going to be a lot more mindset conversations as well to maybe proof, right? Share more proof. Maybe we should do some screen sharing sessions as well, where we show you that it is possible, that you understand. I don't know. AI these days. Maybe even you think our screen shares are fake, but we'll figure that out.
So I used to struggle with my weight. I have done since I was in my early 20s, probably. I like food a lot. I like pasta. I like carbs. I like bread. And I tried 100 times to lose weight. I always resisted hiring a PT or hiring a coach because I was like, what if I don't get the result? Guess when I finally got down to my goal weight, when I hired a freaking coach. Do you know why? Because of the level of accountability. Because I knew that every Thursday I got to check in. And if I check in and I've not dropped on the scale and the waistline hasn't gone down, I'm going to have that guy going, you've been lying to me all week, haven't you? Those calories that you tracked are bullshit. Because I know for a fact if those calories were accurate, you would have lost some weight and you haven't. So either you're lying to me about your workouts and you're skipping them, or you're lying to me about the calories that you're eating and you're eating more, or you're lying to me about both. And because I had that level of accountability, it becomes much, much easier to hold yourself accountable because you're like, dude, I know I'm going to have to check in a few days. And when I do, he's going to call my ass out if he doesn't see the result he wants to get. And dude, that literally changed everything for me. It changed everything for me. So because I had that level of accountability, I could achieve what I wanted to achieve physically and weight-wise and all the rest of it. And then also because I worked with the guy's phenomenal. He's got a PhD and a BSc in sports and nutrition science and all this kind of stuff. So guess how much I learned about nutrition and physiology and exercise and lifting weights and cardiovascular exercise and all of this kind of stuff. So I'm like, now I have all of the tools equipped to keep myself slim and fit and healthy. But the mindset shift I had to make was I had to get to the point where I was like, okay, enough's enough. I'm going to have to find somebody that can just show me what to do and kick my ass when I don't do it. And I think that it's no different in entrepreneurship. If you're struggling to hit the revenue level you're aiming for, then find somebody. That could be us. It could be anybody else. Other online coaches are available. But find somebody that will do those two things. Number one, teach you the skill set you need to hit that revenue level. And number two, kick your ass when you are getting off course. And I think that's why it's simple, but it's also why it's hard, because first you've got to make that decision. Okay, I'm going to pay this money. I'm going to hire this person. That's going to cause me pain. Like I'm worried about spending that much money. Holy cow, the sun just came out like vampire level 10.
You did.
But that's the bottom line, dude. You're going to have to make that decision to hire somebody. You're going to have to get uncomfortable. You're going to have to spend some money. And what that will do for your business, my God, if you hire the right person, is phenomenal. Just like your fitness, just like your anything. What would you do if you wanted to learn how to drive a car? Would you try and figure it out by yourself, or would you hire an instructor?
Yeah.
What would you do if you wanted to learn to swim or surf or play golf? It's no different in entrepreneurship. It's a little more expensive. I don't know. Golf instructors are pretty expensive, but you get my point.
Yeah, 100%. And I really want to add to that what I mentioned earlier in the call, because we had the similar discussion when you said to hire somebody. I used to think a lot about accountability groups, right? There's these apps, there's these things. And I used to think this would be something that I could do with friends or with other people, peers, colleagues, whatever. Let's keep each other accountable. It doesn't work. It's bullshit. Don't think you can hold this accountability with friends, because there's nothing that ties you, unless it's your business partner and your bros and roommates and whatever. And I don't know, this is a very strong bond. But otherwise, there'll be other things that come in between, and this is not their core objective.
Yeah.
And there's also many coaches or businesses that may not do this properly. They just give you course material. So they just give you, yeah, here's the path. If you cannot do it, well, your problem. You got to reach out to me. And so make sure that you hire somebody or you get someone, you pay them money, right? So this is a two-sided thing. Many times there's people that come to me and they're like, when I want something for my business, I say, oh, I want an audit for this account. And they're like, oh, no problem. We do an audit for free. I'm like, no, I'm going to pay you money. Because I want them to take it seriously. I don't want them to, oh yeah, I'm going to cram this in at 10 o'clock at night. No, here's $500. Take this seriously. Take 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever, and deliver a great result. Because it's a waste of my time, my business's time, my everything. If I get someone to deliver a mediocre result, maybe I execute on that. And then what? Fuck. I spent tens and thousands of dollars on something that was mediocrely planned out or thought through.
Yep.
So hire people. Do not hire your friends, or do not do anything with your friends there, but get a professional to whip your ass. I hope you guys got value. If you want to check out what we do at Scale Simple, go DM us on Instagram. I think it's Growth Scale, something like that. Just send us a message. We'll probably personally answer and see if we can help. If this is your first time you're watching this and you got to this part at the end of the podcast, like, good for you. Thank you. Watch some more of this stuff. I hope it's valuable. Leave a comment if you have questions. If you want us to break something down in more detail, if you want us to share something specifically, leave it in the comments. See you in the next one.
Ciao, ciao.